Hey guys, it's your boy, Ballface8020, back again with another great commentary. What I have for you guys this time is not super substantive, but just felt like making a video, so I'll try. I don't think this one's going to be particularly good, but bear with me. Maybe it'll at least be short. We're back in the office with Uncle C. Yeah, and it's been interesting over the years to watch this guy, and because at times it felt like I thought he was showing growth, and now I feel like he's getting worse to the point where, like, I'm kind of wondering, is he starting to, are we at the early stages of him just psychologically unraveling? I can't really tell. So basic updates with Uncle C, if I haven't gone over it. Recently, there's been some changes. First of all, he's moved to Arizona. So he's from North Dakota. So he's moved to Arizona. And I actually think that the change of scenery was good. I think it's good for him to be at a place where he can be outside more often, get some sunlight, and, I think that in some ways he does seem a little better. I think because he's not like cooped inside with his whiteboard as much, and he's able to be out and relax. And sounds like the girls in Arizona are a little bit more receptive to him, unlike in North Dakota, where I'm assuming most people are more reserved. No, so that seems to have helped. So in some sense he does seem a little better. I think that the change of scenery was good. He kind of implied in so many words that part of the move was getting away from his family and friends who were bringing him down. I don't know. I mean, Cole's a really good guy. I can tell. Kerrigan, like, I mean, she seemed like she at least loved Casey. She at least loved her brother. I don't know if maybe she wasn't the world's most charismatic or interesting person, but I don't think that she was. And I'm not saying that he was saying Cole or Kerrigan were bad influences on him. I don't know, or maybe he was talking about somebody else, but I don't know. I do think that whatever it is he got away from up there, he does seem a little better. Now he's trying to do this thing where for some reason he's wearing a cowboy hat all the time. I don't know if he's deliberately trying to make it his trademark, or because he's tried to do, he does this kind of forced memes type thing. Like he used to do the snap to start the thing and say Uncle C, which he doesn't really say anymore. He doesn't do the snap or the hand slap, whatever it is, anymore. I don't know if he's still trying to call the thing Headman, but he'd been trying to make that one work for a while. And the hat kind of works for him. like, do I like it? No, but it doesn't look unnatural. So I'm going to give him credit there. The other thing that I think is really important to make note of is that Casey, and I don't think this is super recent, but has at some point in the last 2 years, Casey has started using steroids, some of the type of steroids. It might be so simple as it's not steroids, it's just TRT. I could see Casey doing like that, just get TRT to keep you at 1200 NGDL all the time, which is essentially, that's steroids. Because even if you naturally had testosterone that high, and 1200 is at the 99th percentile of testosterone, even those guys aren't 1200 NGDL 24/7, which is what you get if you take TRT. So, I mean, it's steroids, whether you want to call it that or not. So he might just be doing that because he doesn't really have the suit. I can tell that he's on steroids, but it's not like somebody could naturally get that big if they had the right genetics. Casey, but I know that Casey is maxed out because we saw him for years. You don't just suddenly add. I mean, he'd already been lifting weights for years. You don't suddenly add an additional 15 pounds of muscle in your mid-20s out of nowhere. He's a strong guy. He's a big, strong guy. And I got to be honest, I do think he looks a little better with the extra muscle. I think he looked healthier without it. But in terms of a guy who like Casey, who's not very tall, he's only 5'10", especially if you're trying to masculinity max, you're going to want as much muscle as possible. And he looks stronger. He looks stronger there. So, yeah. But, I mean, it's really unfortunate. The only people who should be using, steroids and HGH are people who, are competing in some, elite level sport. Otherwise, I'm really against it. Yes, it's your life. Yes, it's your body. You can do what you want. But I would say it's always a mistake. You're making the wrong decision, and I think it shows the danger of bodybuilding, the whole mindset of bodybuilding. Because with bodybuilding, you're going to eventually, probably pretty quickly, hit your genetic ceiling. It might be a really good genetic ceiling, it might be a low genetic ceiling, but you're going to hit it. And at that point, it just becomes you're doing the same thing every day, every week, every month, every year, and there's no more room to make gains. Certainly, no more room to make size gains. So you get frustrated, and the only way to break out of it is to use steroids. Because they have and body types that you may never have been considered attractive suddenly become appealing to you when you're immersed in that bodybuilding culture. It didn't used to be called bodybuilding. When it started, it was called physical culture. And then it was about total health. Yes, they wanted aesthetically pleasing physiques. But they were thinking about definition, balance, overall conditioning and health. If you look at the guys from the Silver Age, or, the Silver Age too, but the Bronze Age bodybuilding, they just looked healthy. They were physical culturalists. It was about, being healthy and strong all the way around. And I think they looked so much better than the guys we have today. Eventually it just became this endless pursuit of mass. And to the point now where professional bodybuilders don't even look human. That started sort of in the 70s, but it's gotten really bad with the HGH that's, came on in the 80s and 90s. Yeah, so I think that, it just shows the danger of that. And I'm not saying that means you can't lift weights or you can't engage in bodybuilding, physical culture. I'm just saying that it does have that danger, where a lot of people, it can kind of warp your perception and mindset and stuff. And you start chasing a physique that really isn't attractive. Again, it's attractive to people who've also had their minds warped by the same subculture, but it's not objectively attractive. Certainly not considered attractive to most other people. Although in Casey's case, I think it works. So you give him that. Okay, so 9 minutes in and haven't even started. Well, so it's not only is this not a great video, but it's not a short one either. So anyway, Casey has a recent video out where he's saying there are 3 secret or hidden, I can't remember one of those things, attraction triggers for women. Now, being that it's Casey, we know that these are A, not going to be secret, or B, not going to be true, or C, both. I will give him some credit here in that, none of this advice is any good, but the first one kind of surprised me a bit. The first one he says is to be degenerate. That's actually the word he used. And one of the examples he gave is basically to look and act like a slob, wear clothes that look like they're decades old, and don't shower daily. Go 2 or 3 days in a row without showering. I'm not joking. This is seriously what he said. So this isn't really degenerate per se. Casey's always had a problem with knowing what words mean. When people say degenerate, they mean looking at porn and other types of pop culture stuff. So maybe some of the stuff Casey talks about going around, getting drunk, acting like a jackass, maybe that would count as degenerate. But the just not showering and wearing old clothes, that's not degenerate per se. There's nothing degenerate about those things. Like, it's not very good manners to have bad hygiene, and you shouldn't, like, I guess, I mean, the clothes thing I think is kind of irrelevant, but it's maybe bad fashion. I don't think it's degenerate. Um, but anyway, so the thinking behind this is I told my brother about this. I said, like, this, I said, Casey literally in his last video said one of the first thing he recommended as a secret attraction trigger for women was to stop showering or to only shower every 2 or 3 days, something like that. And my brother was like, because my brother thinks just as little of Casey as I do. And he said, well, I don't want to defend Casey, but my skin did clear up when I switched to just showering 3 to 4 times a week instead of showering every day. It really improved my skin. That's what my brother thought Casey was talking about. So I don't know if that's that didn't even occur to me. But no, the Casey actually specifically says that the reason you shouldn't do it is because when you look like a total slob and presumably smell bad, then that will trigger women's maternal protective instincts, and they will want to fix you. Really is a new low for Casey. Is it the worst thing he's ever said? Well, probably not. But that's just because he said so many horrible things over the years. I'm not going to examine it or break it down because I think it's just, if it's not self-evident to you why that is just wrong, as in incorrect, then nothing I say would make you understand it anyway. Like, what the fuck? And he elaborates a little further, and he says, when you act like this, basically look like a bum, sound almost like he's saying, I'm assuming he doesn't want you to look like a homeless guy, but maybe have kind of a homeless aesthetic. He says, now you look like the self-destructive asshole that needs to be saved, and that's going to attract women. No. No. I don't want to say that there aren't women who are interested in like fixer-upper type guys or projects or anything like that, but no. No. We'll do some thought experiments. Let's say you're Jimmy Garoppolo. You're Jimmy Garoppolo in looks. You have one version of Jimmy Garoppolo, one version of this Chad Garoppolo is clean cut, and looks good. Maybe not, like in terms of is well dressed or at least okay dressed, and has good hygiene, and looks well put together. And then you have another version of Jimmy Garoppolo where he looks like a complete slob and he smells bad and he's unkempt. Which version is going to do better? Contrary to what black pillars tell you, like neither of them are going to have a 100% success rate. They're even guys like good looking as Jimmy Garoppolo in cold approach, even back when women were receptive to being cold approached, 30% hit rate at most. And of those, you could, even when you're as good looking as Jimmy Garoppolo, maybe 2/3 of that lead to a legit hookup. So, and that's absolute best case scenario. It's probably not even going to be anywhere close to that. But which one Jimmy Garoppolo is going to pull better? I mean, I guarantee you it's going to be the clean cut one, not the smelly homeless one. There might be, there are certain types of women who are going to be more attracted to the smelly homeless one. But in terms of like who's going to, in the aggregate, who's going to attract more, you're better off at least smelling good, at least being properly groomed. Like, this is what Casey's talking about is like some type of looks minning, and it's not looks minning and smell minning. It's not a good idea. It's not going to work. And then Casey goes on to say, this is I think he actually, I don't know if he says every woman, but I think he either says every woman or he just says women all want to change a man's man into a good boy. No. No. No, 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 no. That, okay, first of all, women are, there's some things like that all women like height. But then, there's a lot of variance in terms of what personalities women like. Just like there's a lot of variance in terms of what men like. There are guys who like who like girly girls. There's guys who like tomboys. There's guys who like ball breakers. There's guys who like more submissive women. And with women it's the same thing. They've got different. They don't all like manly man type guys. And some of them like really passive guys, some of them like nerdy guys, some of them like even the ones who do like macho guys, there's different types of macho and masculinity. So the ones who do want a manly man's man, which by the way, Casey is not. I know he thinks he is. There's no shame in that, okay? There's nothing wrong with not having like a super manly personality. But if you mean like a manly personality, like your stereotypical lumberjack type, Casey is not a particularly masculine guy. Like he's masculine, but I think it was when he's not somebody who you think of as a man's man, because there's a lot of characteristics that actually are sort of masculine, but aren't necessarily seen as desirable, like sort of the spurginess. Like Casey, when he's spurging out on the whiteboard, that actually is extremely masculine. You're not going to see a woman do stuff like that. But it's like not good masculine, So like if you talk about like the good, like sort of like macho guy, like either a Tony Soprano or like I said, a lumberjack or, I don't know, something else like that. That's like a man's man, a football coach. That's not Casey. And that's fine. It's not, that's not most guys. It's not a big deal. So, no, and then, but anyway, let's say there's the women who do want that man's man. Do they all want to change him into a good boy? No. Now, I think they maybe want to, like, if he's just like an asshole, like Negan from Walking Dead, the women who want a guy like Negan, okay, they want him to generally to be Negan with everybody else, but have like a soft family man side with her and with their family, their kids, something like that. So in that sense, she might want to change, but like at most that. But she doesn't even want to change you into that. She just wants you to naturally be that. So no, this is just Casey being. I can't tell if it's him being like nearsighted or just stupid. Like I don't. It's tough to tell with him. And then he says, "Oh, and by the way, once you do change to the good boy, that's when she leaves your ass." It's like, dude, Casey, that's not why Brittany left you. You fucking moron. Watch the video if you're interested in that. Watch the video I have titled She Loved You, Casey, and you will know exactly why she left him, okay? She left him because he wasn't able to be, a good, emotionally intimate, romantic partner. And Casey still doesn't get that. And that's where it gets into the sadness part. So like Casey, who's sabotaged his own relationship with a woman who really did love him, that he still hasn't gotten over, by the way. Casey, who did that, like, it would be one thing if he at least learned from it, but instead he learned the exact opposite lesson. He drove Brittany away with his masculine frame, and the lesson he learned from it is that he didn't hold enough masculine frame, and that's why he lost her. Can you believe such a thing? Because it didn't even occur to me that, yeah, Casey's stupid, but I thought there's no way he would be that stupid. It's so dumb that the thought didn't even occur to me. And that's apparently what he really believes. But anyway, then he said the next thing that can really turn women on is demonstrating competence. So he's saying that, like, I don't care what you look like. You can be 6'5", super good looking. Okay. You can be, sorry, I got something beeping. It sounds like it's a bomb about to go off. You can be 6'5", super good looking, and your girlfriend says, hey, I want to go swing dancing. Can you take me swing dancing? And then he, excuse me for 1 second here. Sorry, I can't stop the video. I can't pause the video, so I'm going to be right back with you. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. That was weird. So anyway, but Casey says, you're like, no matter how good looking you are, so you're super high status, super good looking, your girlfriend says, or maybe just, you know, like somebody who you want to be your girlfriend, says, take me swing, like, I want to go swing dancing. Will you take me swing dancing? So she says, if you don't know how to swing dance, don't do it. Because no matter how tall or good looking you are, or how much status you have, if you go in and you're not good at it, she's going to leave you for some guy who she sees there who is good at it. That's seriously what Casey said. He said, like, you're like, because like you're going to look bad. She's going to be like, haha, he looks stupid. And he says, like, girls like to laugh at guys who fail at things. Like, yeah, I mean, maybe, I don't know. But no, I actually think it's the other way around. I think that if, you know, she sees you doing something that you're uncomfortable with, but you're trying to do it for her, I think that's going to be really attractive to most women. I think there's going to be some women who are going to be really attracted by it, and then some who aren't going to really care. I don't think there's going to be any women who lose attraction for you just because like you struggle to pick up something like swing dancing. It's like, I know it's just an example, but it's just fucking stupid. Casey says that basically, he said, like, when I'm like dating girls, there are two things that I'm really good at that I like to take them to. One is weightlifting and the other is jet skiing. And it's like, I'm really good at both of those things. So when I date or take her to these places, it really builds up attraction on her part. There might be something to that, a little bit of, black pill part obviously is to even get to that stage, you need to, pass the looks threshold, but like, to say the least. The thing is, I can tell you there was a girl who I got with in college who we'd been in the same class for a while. She'd never shown any interest in me, and to tell you the truth, I hadn't really paid much attention to her either. But there was this time that the college I went to wasn't that great, and most of the kids there were pretty stupid. Like, because I'm no genius, and I was smarter than most of them. But she and the other members of her group, we had to work in groups for this assignment, were having some major computer trouble because they needed to do show something for like a presentation or something. And they could not get it figured out. And so they were like scrambling, and I was nearby, so I saw it. And they had been fumbling for a while. So I told them that, just because I really like to solve stuff like that. I was like, okay. And so I just pushed myself in and said, do this, do this, do this, this. And I did get it solved. Go me. And one of the girls was like really taken with that. And she was like, oh my God, how did you know how to do that? And I was like, I just figured it out. And then but I didn't really think anything of it. But then she started talking to me. And yeah, I did end up getting with her. But the thing is, it's like, I really do think it was because of that, that solving that computer issue. Because again, I'd been in class with her for a while. She already knew who I was. And so it wasn't so obvious. And maybe that was just a lead in to finally talk to me. But the thing is, if a girl wants to talk to you, she will. So they'll find some excuse. So I actually think there's something to what Casey's saying. Um, but like, it's Casey, so he wants to be a spurg about it. And the thing is, if you're not on, like, there's a limit to it. Like I said, there's the swing dancing thing is because like Casey's going to take is like, well, like only do things that you're good at. Casey actually says only run races that you're going to win. I presumably he means like in front of, you don't want to ever like be defeated or show weakness in front of your girl or love interest or whatever. And I just, that's just not true. It's just not true. Again, like, I don't make these videos or these critiques to go up and moralize and say like, this is wrong, don't do that or stuff, like, cause I don't give a shit, man. Fuck all that. Sometimes I think that, sometimes I don't, but it's got nothing to do with that. Like, it's got to do with what he's saying is factually incorrect. Like, let's say all you want to be masculine and be a relationship where you have frame and she wants you more than you want her. Okay, whatever, man, whatever. But this isn't going to work to do that. This isn't going to build attraction, that kind of stuff. Being like nobody's attracted to spurginess, and it just comes off. It makes you look insecure. That's like, it makes you look insecure, and it's not natural. And like I said before, with women, it's more than anything else about the vibe. And your vibe is going to be shit if this is how if you're just always thinking about like, have to look good, have to look strong, and that like that. It's like, if you're strong, you're strong. And if you're strong, you can show a vulnerability. Okay? Doesn't mean, I'm not trying to say weakness is strength, because I know they can go cope with that and take it the other way. But like, if you've got to be, if you're really strong and secure of yourself, you don't have to act like you're the master of everything and you're like indefeatable, and trying to act that way is going to make you more insecure. So, I mean, he's so off base here. It's just wrong. Then he says something that like basically being confident and strong calms her feminine and natural feminine anxiety. I think there's something to this. I mean, I wouldn't have really, in the past, I never really believed it. I would have just dismissed it as red pill nonsense. But watching a lot of TikToks, I'm not saying that all women are like this, but I think there's a pretty good chance that most do kind of have some sort of feminine anxiety. And they like, even if they don't need a man physically for their, for their, material needs, or physical protection, a lot of them do need some kind of, masculine energy as to make them feel not just fulfilled, but like safe emotionally. Not all women, but I think that most kind of do. I really do think that. Now, is acting like Casey going to help calm her feminine anxiety? Probably not. but I guess he's kind of on to something. I wouldn't recommend acting like Casey, but I guess there's something there. I also don't know if you need to really worry about that in the early stages. That would be more of like, again, after you've already started dating or something. Then he says, because all women are thinking, is this man strong enough to protect me? Okay, and again, not all women. Most, even that I don't know. Because most women, like in the West, are completely retarded and seriously think that they're physically stronger than their boyfriends. I mean, I know you're thinking, no, they're not that retarded. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And this isn't like a Zoomer thing either. This is, when I was young, they were all like this. Because I used to play rugby, and when we scrimmaged against the girls, like they seriously thought that they could like run us over and stuff. Like even me, and like, I was like total framelit, weak, a horrible rugby player. But like I remember there was, like, with one exception, one girl who was just a beast. All the girls, like, literally to stop them, because like we would, like, as guys, we're not gonna hit the girls, all right? We're not gonna, like, because you could hurt them. But like all of them, I would literally grab with one arm, okay, and then tug, and they would fall. All of them. Okay, there were no exceptions. I mean, except for the the man beast girl. She was, yeah. I could have used forearms, and it wouldn't have made a difference with her. But the thing is, but that, like, none of that gets through to them. They still, they like, women still, I'm sure if you asked any of them who's stronger, you or Ballface 80/20, they would have said, oh, me. Because women just don't get it. And I remember my brother's now ex-girlfriend, she was saying, like, Ballface 80/20, I could beat you up. But she was just kind of joking about it. But I was like, and I was younger then and very sensitive about that stuff, especially being kind of weaker. I was like, no, you absolutely couldn't. I would kill you. And then she's like, well, I beat up, your brother when we wrestle. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And then so she was like, oh, well, she was like, and I know it was like before we started, I was like, wait, that when he's wrestling with you, he's not trying at all. He's letting you win, right? And then she said, no, he's not. And I said, yes, he is. You think that he's trying? And she said, he is. And I was like, no. I said, go ask him. And then she went to the other room, asked him, and she came back and she's like, oh, my whole life has been a lie. He said that he wasn't trying at all. That seriously is so. I don't think that women are thinking that. Is this man strong enough to protect me? Because they think that they're stronger than the guy they're with, usually. So, I mean, I guess like one of the points I'm trying to make is that not only did she not think that my brother could protect her, and she was really hot too, like 7 face, 8 body. And not only did she not think he could protect her from other men, she didn't believe that he could protect himself from her. And she was still super in love with him. So no, I don't think that. It's a complete non-issue. Women don't care about physical strength. They don't care about muscles. Height, yes. But protect you, they don't care. They think that they can protect themselves physically. They can't, but they think they can. And they think they can kick your ass. So, like, no, it's not going to be. And you showing them that you're stronger, that's not going to do anything. So, I know where Casey's going with this, and it's not like 100% baseless. But like I've said before, how many things are 100% baseless? There's usually a kernel of truth in everything. Then they said, like, if you're somebody who's like kind of a spaz and has anxiety, my recommendation is that you just speak 20% slower. It's like, again, there's a kernel there. I wouldn't recommend trying that. I don't think you're going to be able to pull that off as somebody who's a naturally fast talker. If you're somebody like, I agree that generally there are exceptions because, especially if you're running oofy doofy game, like for me when I was young, running oofy doofy game, my anxious personality was part of what attracted girls to me, I believe. But I could see other cases where it could be a real disadvantage. And especially if you don't have the, like, not everybody can do the Michael Cera thing that I was able to do when I was younger. If you can't, then yeah, you maybe you do need to like pare down the anxiety a bit. But I don't think like that's such a Casey solution. Just try to force yourself to talk 20% slower. No, because the rapid talking is a manifestation or a symptom of the anxiety. So deal with the underlying anxiety. We've talked about that in other videos about how you would do something like that. We don't need to rehash it here. Just horrible, bad advice by Casey. He's not showing improvement. He seems to be regressing. That's all for now. See you in the next.